All right, guys, it's that time of the year again. 2026 inoculation time. Here's the bags that we're gonna inoculate. We have here a blue oyster. What I'm most excited about though is this Black Pearl King. Shout out to Gary at Fresh from the Farm Fungi and his family. He bred out this Black Pearl King, which actually does extremely well outside. It's very heat tolerant, so it's one that we really like to inoculate here. And our trusty Salida oyster, which is a pearl oyster. Very, very strong genetic we've had for a long time. Tends to do very well outside also. We're going to inoculate this bed here and walk you through the process, and then we'll upload a video later of the results. It is today, I think, February 9th. Starting to get warm in here, and the soil's already kind of starting to wake up. You can see the grass coming back already. I'm going to pull all this mulch back. We're going to layer a little bit of cardboard in there because it helps it colonize. And then we're going to put all that mulch back over the top there. And update you guys as we go. All right, we're going to pull all this mulch back so that we can do the proper layering in here. So pull it all back. And I'm sure we'll probably see some live mycelium as we're doing this from last season's inoculations.
Think a mushroom lasagna.
So as we're pulling it back, one of the first things that I'm noticing is how amazingly amended this soil is. And it is just nice and black. It is really, really good soil. This was like no nutrients added or anything. This was literally just inoculated with mycelium, and this is the way that it looks one season after the inoculation.
And here's what it looks like without it.
Here's actually a fresh cluster. Check this out. We have actually a little cluster that's already starting to form from last season, which is pretty awesome. We still have some live mycelium in here, obviously.
Mushroom.
Here in the middle, you can clearly see a lot of live mycelium still from last season. So this survived the winter, and it's already trying to bounce back. But we're gonna inoculate fresh mycelium here just to ensure that we get some fruits. All right, so I'm just taking an old cardboard box. Most people can find very easily. Pretty easy to access some cardboard these days. So what we're gonna do is lay some cardboard down in the backside. In the backside here. Try to make sure you get all the tape and stickers off because you don't really want that in your soil. The mycelium will eat it, but they're hyperaccumulators, so you really don't want them uptaking toxins, especially if it's in your gardening soil. So what I'm gonna do is just layer the backside here with cardboard. And the reason I'm not gonna layer the whole thing is that so we can actually plant in this still. So we're gonna get this live mycelium growing in the back here and be able to plant in the front. Cardboard specifically to help this colonize, because we've done this for a few years now and we've noticed that the ones with cardboard do way better. So specifically what this experiment is gonna be entailing is we're gonna inoculate the Black Pearl King and the blue oyster on one side, and then we're gonna inoculate the pearl oyster on the other side, see if they can meet in the middle and form some variegated species. Alrighty, I'm gonna get the girls in there. So we have the black pearl down here, the blue oyster in the middle here, and then the pearl oyster down on the side there. So what we can do is just break these apart, and you can be pretty aggressive with it, so you can stomp them in there. And you guys might be wondering why we only inoculated that side. And I explained earlier that it's so that we can plant in the front here, but also that side is going to have the most amount of shade. So it's going to create nice microclimates right up against the wall there for stuff to fruit out as successfully as possible. And you can see here, the girl's just having some fungi, stomping out the blocks, spreading out the mycelium. We can be pretty aggressive with it. The mycelium is super strong, and it will recolonize even if we break it apart like that, even back into like its sawdust form. And what we're using here is spent block material that you can actually go most likely to your local mushroom farm and ask for. I would just recommend donating for it if they don't ask for any money, because it's a really cool way to help out your local mushroom farm. But typically actually is a byproduct of mushroom farming too, which is really cool.
Is that funny?
Good job, Lou.
What'd you find, Pinion? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, that's gross. That's gross. That's a gross one. Miso, the solar cat.
Okay.
Miso.
So the surface area from the cardboard is going to allow the hyphae to expand a little bit more properly and not have to work so hard trying to jump from piece of mulch to piece of mulch. And that is, I think, one of the main reasons why cardboard helps so much. Is just to make it a little bit more effortless for the mycelium to expand out.
Yeah, Farmer Bo.
Pick up the big chunks with your feet. And again, this is the Salida oyster, the pearl oyster side down here, and then the blue oyster in the middle and the black pearl. And I'm only saying that because it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the middle, I think. Anya in the back layer, we're literally just going to push the mulch back over.
Got the hose coming in.
And then we're going to give it a nice little water.
Ah! Not Mom's feet. Get the mushroom lasagna. This is how we're doing.
Oh, it smells so good. Then all we have to do is even out the mulch so that when it comes time, we can just move the mulch up front here and start planting in the front. And then we can literally just leave the backside as is. All right. Now we're just gonna go through and water it in. Just gonna saturate it. Since we have really well draining soil, we can basically water it endlessly in theory, and all of the water will just seep through. But if you have a dense amount of clay in your soil, you definitely don't want to water it too much, otherwise you could easily drown the mycelium. And as you can see, some tough work here.
Exhausting.
So another thing that I wanted to mention that really helped us out last year is this very broken wax opener that opens this window, or is supposed to open the window as it gets warm. The wax will expand and then open the window, but clearly this was a cheap model and just got destroyed over the course of one season. But these things are really helpful if you have a window to just give your mycelium some fresh air and to help them to not get cooked out.
Nice, throw it in there. Good job, baby.
And we're doing this all for the love. The love of the mycelium, the love of the community. We were very, very fortunate to get a grant through our wonderful county program, the Saguache Sales Tax Grant Program, and our amazing commissioners. And almost every single cluster we've grown in here has been donated to local food banks or the local library. And it's just very fulfilling to be able to work with the community in that way. So I didn't want to confuse anybody with the dates on this. This is extremely early to be inoculating. Like I said, it's February 9th, and that is very early. But what I've noticed is that, one, the weather is really warm down here right now, and it's just kind of calling me to inoculate right now just because I'm reading the weather. But also, if it is really early and it's still freezing, this mycelium will just go dormant for a second and then continue to fruit out at a later point when it has the ideal conditions. It's hyper intelligent, it knows what it's doing, and fruits out at the perfect time when it has the perfect climate. So for us, this is not too early, but for many people, this actually might be too early to inoculate. The most ideal time that we've found to inoculate is, we're down here in southern Colorado. The most ideal time for us has been June. And if we inoculate in June, we typically get less than a 30-day turnaround. So from the time that we inoculate to the time that we get fruiting bodies is about 30 days or less if we inoculate around June. So June is really kind of like that Goldilocks period. But what's crazy is last year we inoculated right around this time and we were getting fruiting bodies in March.
Hey, Dad, I'm getting a bunch of trash.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks for picking up trash.
You want to see us?
Appreciate that. Good work. Oh yeah, look at that young steward of the planet there, picking up trash. Nice work, bud. Thanks for helping. All right, one last thing I wanted to mention is that the mycelium is eating the organic matter, including the mulch in here. So, since the mycelium was eating the mulch last year, it's a good idea to come through with a little bit more mulch, just to give it a little bit of an extra food source for this year. So, I'll make a little video on me just topping it off with a layer of mulch at another point, but easily have at least a couple days to do that. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll update you with the results soon.